disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Juliana and Justin, thank you. Welcome to Fist Kicks and Flixx. We have some questions for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Heck
All right.
yeah.
You got it named right. That's
Yeah,
We're off to a good start.
I've been practicing since y'all told me.
all right, there you go. There you go.
And I'm one of those people that can forget a name real quick. So I've been practicing.
You and I
So,
both.
okay. All right. How old were you guys when you began martial arts, and why did you start training in martial arts?
Yeah, I started when I was 3 years old. Well, technically in the womb. My mom was pregnant with me while her and my dad owned a karate school in Miami.
Oh.
Out right in the middle of the floor.
So I was basically born and raised on the mats. All my uncles had karate schools. So it was a family affair, to say the least. And then at, kindergarten, all the little girls, karate's for boys. You can't do that. You have to do dance and gymnastics and cheerleading and right?
Yeah.
So I quit when I was 5, and I did everything you could imagine. I did belly dancing. I did ballet. I did gymnastics. I did.
Everything.
I was good at it, but I didn't like it.
Okay.
And so when I was 8 years old, my dad was like, "Hey, this Saturday morning, I'm gonna go train at your uncle's karate school. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yes, please, take me with you."
Have you been asking him to train?
No, I hadn't mentioned it.
Okay.
And he asked me, and I felt it. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is it." And when I went back, I still remember that day vivid. Like my uniform, my white belt, getting my blue stripe for my 3-count front kick, like all of the details, because it clicked. I knew it was my passion. And at 10 years old, I remember leaving 5th grade and getting in the car with my mom and telling her, "I'm not going to college." And she was like, well, I mean, there's time, but why do you say that? And I was like, because I'm going to own a karate school like you and Dad. That's all I want to do. I was bit by the karate bug. That's all I wanted.
Okay.
Since I was 3 and ever since.
Okay, so the question was, when did you start, right?
Yeah. And why?
Wow.
And why? The question was, and why? He's looking at me like I'm crazy.
All right, well, I started when I was 3 years old as well. As soon as I was walking, I was kicking. And I remember at 3 years old, my birthday gift was a white uniform and a belt. And a lesson was grab my leg, put it on top of the couch, and my father said, "Hold it right there. Don't move until I get back." I just left the room, and I'm sitting there shaking, holding my leg. 3 years old. Had my, as a 3-year-old, the couch looks like a skyscraper.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm shaking, and I can see the tears coming out. And he's like, "You better not be crying." I was like,
Sucked him back in.
and then he came back in, and I was like, "Oh, thank God." He put my leg down, and he was like, "All right, now the other one." That was my first ever lesson, and yeah.
How long was it? Do you think? I mean, as a 3-year-old, you probably think your leg is up there for 5 hours.
For me, it felt like 5 hours. But I'm sure it was maybe like 5-10 minutes, but that's still a long time holding the leg up.
Yeah.
And to be your first lesson, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell it was like from that day on, one, my dad is definitely like a blood sport kickboxer fan. So obviously, Jean-Claude Van Damme training over here.
There we go.
And 2, I was meant to be a kicker. So yeah, that was when I started.
The best thing you're saying is you came out kicking out the womb. That is like
That's
the perfect tagline when we think of J.O. There we go. That is the perfect tagline. All right. So my question is gonna be, what made you guys get into the film industry?
Oh, that's a great question. There's a few inspirations for me. One, I mean, when I was 3 years old, my first ever movie I saw was Rumble in the Bronx.
Oh,
With
okay.
Jackie Chan.
Okay.
And ever since I saw that, I was like, man, like he actually inspired me to be a martial artist. It wasn't Bruce Lee, it wasn't Jet Li, it was Jackie Chan.
Gotcha.
But just to see him play like a real character, someone that's actually vulnerable, someone that gets hit, and I was like, I want to be like that one day. I want to be a performer like this man, but also a great martial artist like this man. So that was always in the back of my head. So growing up, I always did theater and stuff like that, and acting and being a competitor. we perform all the time on stage, and so that is our theater. You know?
Yeah.
So that was always that touch of inspiration to me, and then I have a really good friend. His name is Christopher Yorka. He always, like, he saw me. He's like, man, you have to be doing stunts. You got to be doing stunts. And I was like, yeah, you know, it's cool. My martial arts thing is going good, and I'm going to keep doing that.
So were you like jumping off the garage or the roof or the couches and everything like that too?
For what?
Since you said Jackie Chan was somebody that you looked up
Oh,
to, were you trying to?
You kidding me? I was
Menace in the projects. People still talk about it when I get on the subway down in the the MBTA over in Boston. People will see him and they'll be like, "Yo, it's J.O. You remember when you used to talk about you were doing crazy stuff here in Boston in the projects? We knew you were gonna be on TV, and now we're actually seeing you on TV." So
yeah. I mean, born and raised in a project, so martial arts was like that scapegoat. But yeah, just like Jackie Chan, it was kind of like using my environment, anything I can to jump off of, roll out of. Man, sometimes I even went out, like, as a teenage, like, not even teenager, 12 years old, I'll see, like, this little bridge, and I'll jump off onto the, like, concrete floor, roll out. I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
HVAC systems.
Yeah, like climbing through, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
You
Trust
know.
me. I know.
You
Trust
know.
me.
You
I
see
know.
the HVAC systems
I know.
popping out. You can climb from one to the
Go
other.
one to the other. I
use
got
the
you.
windowsills. Yeah, man. I was doing all that, man. Jackie Chan was definitely the inspiration. I'm sure he would have been like, that was
Don't
too
do
much.
it.
Yeah. So
or he
then-
would have been very proud. Who knows?
Okay. And then Juliana, what about for you?
For me, being a performer, I did forms and weapons in sport karate, right? So a lot of that time on stage, I just loved getting that reaction and entertaining. And then same thing, we had a friend, Christopher Yorka, and he was a stuntman down in Miami and also a martial artist. So he knew how to integrate the two, and he knew what it took. And he would come up to us and be like, dude, if you guys got into stunts, you guys would kill it. And we were like, okay, you know, that's a fever dream. Like, if you're lucky, you make it. You know, it's like, oh, every once in a while, one of them will go out and do it.
Yeah.
But that's not me. That's not for me. And so one day they put out a casting call for the Cobra Kai, and they had open auditions, and they were looking for traditional martial artists. This is back in like 2018 for season 3.
Okay.
And so we go, and I'm thinking, like, you know what? We're just going to go and have fun. And Justin and I, not having any stunt experience, we made it to the final round. So we're fighting.
A little context behind that, like, I remember watching season 1, and then, you know, with my, I was teaching at the time, and one of the people that worked for me was like, dude, you got to be on that. And I was like, I need to be on that. I need to be on that. And then fast forward, we're at this audition.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were at this audition, and we make it to the final round with, like, well-known, reputable stunt performers, like actively working film stunt performers. And so that's when it kind of hit us, like, oh, man, we can do this. And so after that, Justin got the call to work on Ozark and then Cobra Kai right after. And so I was seeing and hearing all of these stories of, like, how much he loved it and enjoyed it. But I was still almost comfortable with the corporate side, the martial arts business industry, and how well we were doing with that. So I was like, you know what? I'll let you, have fun, and I'll kind of stay and do this. And then, COVID happened, all this craziness, and you start to really analyze. And one of those times we were like, oh man, actually that is what's calling me. And I was trying to quiet that voice. And so Chris and Justin sat me down and were like, there's a stunt coordinator in Miami that says he has a job for you. But if you're going to do this, you have to take it seriously. You can't just be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that's when I decided. And again, I tried it that first day. I remember it so vividly. And I was bit by the stunt bug. And now it's all I wanted to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did you guys watch The Karate Kid as kids? Or did you guys watch all of those movies after the popularity of Cobra Kai?
Did I?
You lived it.
I lived it.
Lived it.
I mean, they would call me, like, literally the Karate Kid every time. I mean, I know that was typical, but, like, when I was younger and my hair was a little bit fro, they thought I was like Daniel LaRusso's son. And they're like, no, you legit look like the Karate Kid. So, yeah, I've watched it 1, 2, and 3, even 4. And I know I know I
Four.
say that because like,
Even four.
because some people like when they say they hear the Karate Kid, they think trilogy, they don't really
Right,
think about the
right.
fourth
Yeah.
one. They're like, hey, the fourth one was good in its own right, but of course 1, 2, and 3. I watched it, grew up with it, like almost like stages of my life kind of reflect like
Yep.
these times in like in number 1 and number 2 and number 3. But yeah, definitely for sure. I was always a huge fan. Always a huge fan. And then like fast forward getting to work with them, that was so cool. But like Terry Silva, number 3, that's my guy.
That's your guy.
Just saying.
I remember when Cobra Kai was just on YouTube Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would finish teaching at the karate school, and Justin would already in the back of the karate school have like chairs set up with a laptop so we could sit down and
Watch.
watch Cobra
Airplane
Kai.
to the TV.
Yep.
Yeah, they're played to the TV.
Gotcha.
We're still all in our gis, like taking out mouthpieces, like while we're getting ready to watch it. So it genuinely, the Karate Kid has been a part of our life since the start, and so getting to be a part of that and immortalizing our martial arts, our passion for creating, entertaining, and the karate world in general. It was beautiful. It was so full circle. Even the second unit director and the fight coordinator, Don Lee, he comes from Sport Karate. He was Team AKA, and he asked for my parents to come on set and watch us fight and watch our choreography and watch us act. And
That's
that
so
was
cool.
such a beautiful moment. I remember just sitting there like tears coming out of my face because Don is like hugging my parents and is like, "Aren't you so proud of them?" Because it's true. Like, how hard did we work, not thinking that this was necessarily like the goal, what we were working towards, in every step of the way, but everything we did got us there. And so it was a really nice moment to, yes, grow up with them and be a part of them.
So now with you saying that, it's going to be a perfect segue, right? So when did you guys officially start your stunt and acting career?
So I would say when we did that audition,
Okay.
I got called. Weeks went by, and I was like, oh, maybe I didn't do good enough. Like I thought I killed it. I thought I did good. But then I get a text for like, hey, we want you to be in Ozark, and I was like, Ozark? That's not what I auditioned for.
Wrong guy, buddy.
I was like, they sure they got the right guy? It's me, right? Justin Ortiz, they got me? Okay, cool. But, man, did I tell you, that was probably, like, I know there's nothing like your first, right? But my first stunt job is still to this date one of the coolest stunt jobs I did. Like,
Really?
I was on that final episode, season finale, and I get to kick open the door, and I have Uzis. I'm spraying the church with blanks, so it's like I have earplugs in, but I just remember like going, this is awesome. And things are exploding all over the place. That squib's going, glasses breaking, people are flying, and I'm like, this is my first job, and I'm working with some of the best stunt performers. And I was also working for a stunt coordinator named Hiro Koda, who, as we know, he was on Metro back in the day, sport karate athlete. So I was like, this is so cool. And he's a stunt coordinator for Stranger Things. Stranger Things, he still is. Cobra Kai at the time, and Ozark at the moment. And so that was like a huge honor. And I got to work with my best man, Christopher Yorka, who was like, hey, man, we get to work on this together. And it was just so cool. It was just so cool. It was a really cool moment.
Lobster tails for
and
lunch.
that was the thing, man.
Lobster tails for
Can I
lunch.
tell this story? Do we have time?
Lobster tails.
Do we have
Yeah,
time?
we have time.
Do we have
go
time?
ahead.
Okay,
Lobster
We got
tails
time for
lunch.
lobster tails.
Let me tell you the story. So Chris is he's like, dude, you're gonna love set, and he's like, what you gonna love? Because he knows me. He's like, you're gonna love the food. He's like, there's nothing like food on set, and I'm like, what? Cool. So we get to the station, and there's this soup, there's like little like pasta thing, and all these crackers, and like just a spread of snacks, and I was like, oh, okay. I was like looking at him, like, this is dope, but like I thought you like said that this is gonna be some food. He goes, "Oh, you thought this was food?" He starts laughing. He goes, "Man, this is called Crafty. This is the snack area." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Don't play with me, man." He's like, I'm not playing with you." He's like, "This is just snack." And I was like, "What?" He's like, wait till lunchtime. I was like, "You said lunch. You didn't even say dinner."
Yeah.
He said lunch. Wait till lunchtime. I was like, lunch is gonna be crazy. And then on top of that, we get in, and it was like, you know, when Willy Wonka opened.
Yeah, the chocolate factory.
And the funny thing is, as soon as the doors opened, the first thing I saw was like this little chocolate fountain for fondue, and I was like, "What?" And Chris looks at me and goes, "I forgot. This is the season finale. They go all out." And I was like, "Huh?" Like, I was like, "What?" So I had filet mignon wrapped in bacon, lobster tails,
Wow.
like shrimp cocktails, you know, just all this stuff. And on top of that, I'm eating every candy and Crafty, every soda I can get my hands on. And it was crazy too, because like I was like, "Yeah, I'll take the lobster tail." They're like, "Okay, yeah, how many?" I'm like, "How many?" You're playing a dangerous game. I'm like, "How many can you fit in that box?" That's what I want to know. But yeah, so like
That sounds like that's great.
That was the coolest first experience. And like right after, I get called. Like they loved how we worked. They're like, "Hey, can you work on season 3 on Cobra Kai?" And I was like, "Oh man, for sure." and it happens, yeah. And it happens to be, of course, if you saw it, right? It was the season finale.
Yeah.
So what did that mean?
Yeah.
More food. The spread is good. The food is already great, but season finale, the spread is going to be even better. But yeah, so that's how everything started, and then from there it just took off. You know, we do a great job of keeping that martial arts mentality, which is like always stay a white belt, always stay learning, and that's what we did. We kept learning, kept asking questions. You know, we're not going to sit there and act like we know it all, which sometimes that ego gets in the way as martial artists. Like we have an advantage as martial artists and being stunt performers, but sometimes our disadvantage is we come with these years of habits that it's hard for us to break, or we have an ego that we don't want to break it. And not us. We love learning. We love learning, asking questions, and developing our game. And because of that mentality, we have risen through the ranks really fast. And, you know, I think we're well on our way to becoming some of the best stunt performers in the world because, like, that's our goal. And 2, you know, we take it serious, and we ask those questions, and we try to learn as much as we can. And then it just transitioned to we started acting and you know, found a back way door of getting into acting, which we always wanted to do because we both were in theater in high school, and I did a little in college, and it's like this ultimate yin yang, the balance between being able to perform as, you know, in theater, being able to perform, and then bringing our martial arts together, being stunt actors.
Yeah,
you know, it's like,
that's
wow,
awesome.
this is our ultimate yin yang. This is our ultimate level of us. This is us being us. So yeah.
I love that.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
The question was when the
question was answered.
Well, no, I'm just.
And it was brought to a whole nother level.
I'm
baby.
just checking because I answered the first question. So.
Hold on. Did she answer? Because the first question was what? No.
Why did you start?
When did you
start?
crying?
And why? No, and they said and why.
Years old. And then on top of that,
But
went to the
why?
next question, and she went over, and I was like,
Won't get our voice unless you are.
Give me the mic.
No,
Did we miss anything?
I love
No? Cool, because I could do the whole story.
I love the part of that. Like they weren't talking about how happy they were to see Ralph Macchio or William Zabka. They went to the lobster tail.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never been like starstruck like
Okay.
that. You know, because like the biggest thing was growing up in sport karate. One of the best advice I got in fighting was from Joe Greenhall.
Okay.
And I can cuss.
Okay.
On Fist Kicks and Flixx, yeah.
Yeah,
You can do whatever you want here.
Cool. Because he said, "Justin, man, I was 15 fighting adults. And, you know, I was doing good. And, you know, I'm going up. I'm about to fight Reggie Perry. And, like, if you know Reggie Perry,
Yeah.
that's the truth right there.
Yeah.
Man can hit. And he looks at me. He's like, Justin, He's like, don't worry about who is this and he got X amount of champions and he's this legend and whatever. You look him in the eye and say, fuck you. You're about to learn who I am today.
I like that.
Yeah.
Best advice ever, guy. I even teach it in my seminars. I go, I need you to understand whoever's in front of you, it doesn't matter. They're going to learn who you are today. And so, like, I never was, like, starstruck on people. It was cool to see them and meet them. But I wasn't like, oh, my God, this and that. But I will say, because of that whole legacy that was built, that they built, getting to see them. But on top of that, I have a video that, like, we were at the club and I'm partying with them and we're like, together. I was like, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, of course. That's timeless.
But it doesn't beat filet mignon wrapped in bacon with lobster tails. When are you going to get? Yeah, the only thing is like after every gig that was worked after that was like, man, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
That was what Chris said. Chris was like, hey, man, I would say it goes up from here, and sometimes it does, but this is pretty hard to beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. But yeah, here we go. Back to you. Good luck.
Are you gonna re-answer the question? Or?
Yeah. So the question was.
15 minutes later, I don't even remember what the question was.
You don't need to hear her side.
Clearly.
I actually was asking for my benefit because I don't remember what the question was.
This is actually for selfish reasons.
So the question was, when did you get started officially with stunts and acting? So when did this happen for you?
So I don't know if you guys remember my entire sport karate career. I had really bright purple hair.
Yep.
And I was not willing to give it up because it's what made me unique. It's what made me stand out. It's what made me feel most me.
Mm-hmm.
And the film industry doesn't really do bright purple hair, but I was cool with it. So eventually the opportunity did come up for that Miami job, and because I made that vow that I would take it seriously and that I was all in, I dyed my hair back to brown and I went all in. So that was July of 2020.
Okay.
And so I've been officially doing this for 4.5 years.
Going on.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So 2020.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So Justin, you kind of already answered this question, but it could change.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So who is your favorite martial arts movie star and why? So I know what you said earlier, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's still your favorite now. So.
I didn't think about that. Because now there's a lot of options. Juliana Ramos-Ortiz.
There you go.
Smart.
She's working her way up.
Great plug.
She's probably one of the best female first Latina turned stunt woman into actress out there. So it's a pretty
And that's
big
a
deal.
fact.
There you go.
That's a fact. We're
But Jackie Chan though. No, Jackie Chan for sure, my favorite all time. I mean, he inspired me throughout all my martial arts career, and even now with the stunt business.
Okay.
Like people study him, like they still study him because like he was ahead of his game, and he's still a huge inspiration to the martial arts world, stunt world, you name it, even to the regular film world. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Obviously, the kicking abilities.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah,
Obviously.
always watched him. My dad was a big fan of him, so they was like, "Hey, you have to, you got to kick like this guy," and so it was always a big inspiration. But funny fact, if you guys remember, because you guys like old movies, right?
Yep.
Jean-Claude Van Damme starred in a movie that was based off a video game.
No Retreat, No Surrender.
No, a
Before
video
that
game.
Fighter?
Street Fighter. You got it.
That was
And he-
later. That was, what was like?
And he played.
that.
And
We
he
killed that
and he
movie.
played.
Yeah, we killed that movie. I'm going to be honest with you.
No, yeah, but he played the character
Guile.
Guile.
Yeah.
So my middle name is actually Giles.
Really?
A lot of people
Okay.
know that. And
Oh,
it
this
was-
is news to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
so I was named after Street Fighter Giles
Shoot.
because he was played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, which means my dad is a huge Jean-Claude
Yeah,
Van
gotcha.
Damme fan.
So he said you
So
have
I
to
was
be-
meant to kick
Yeah,
like
but
that.
say
man.
you have to kick.
I
There
had
ain't
to
no
kick
one
like
else.
I
that.
gotta ask this. So
Yeah.
you have to have done the splits on the chairs then.
You kidding me?
There you go.
Just-
Sits on the chair. You know how like he was held up by the ropes.
Yeah.
And he's like pulling himself,
Yeah.
but that everything.
Okay.
I used to do my leg weights. I used to have it on the rope, and I'm pulling weight from one foot, one leg coming up, like the whole shabam. who's doing it. Like I was on the bench, and he and my feet are on the bench, and my knees are hanging out in a butterfly position, and he's pushing my legs past the bench.
Wow.
So yeah, it was serious training.
Yeah, so you like I said, when it was set in stone, you were gonna kick.
Yeah,
there
he's
was
like,
nothing
if
else.
you don't kick like that guy, you're not my son. That's basically what he said. And he even named me after the character. So he was like, it would be a waste of the name if you don't end up kicking like that. So I had to end up kicking like. But yeah, so Jean-Claude Van Damme. I would say current. Who's a good current? I'm gonna stick with those two. What about you?
Well, mine is always Jackie Chan. But for me, it's not, just like his abilities and stuff. For me, a lot of things that I like to look at is character. And I think that his integrity, his humility, his way of maneuvering this industry that is so tough as a martial artist on and off the mats speaks volumes of who he is as a person and the people that he chooses to work with and how he has trained people up and the things that he has gone on to do but is not full of himself. I mean, if you really look at all the things that Jackie Chan has done for years, like even back then when it was so innovative and crazy, like he was the Tom Cruise. He was coming down from all of from that building through those panels down to a taco on concrete without a pad. Like we saw him do insane, like crazier things than Tom Cruise is doing now, and he was not searching for that glory and he was doing it because he loved the art. And so that's why I look up to him and respect him so much, because he's a true martial artist.
Yeah. And that fall in Rush Hour, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That definitely was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And like, when did Rush Hour come out? Early 2000s. Like,
Yeah.
It might have been in the late 90s. Was it?
Early 2000.
Someone got to
99, 2001.
Around that time.
Yeah.
Fact check this.
I want to
But like
say 97, 98. That's what I want to say.
20.
Rush Hour.
The first one.
Rush Hour.
Yeah.
98, 99 is what I
Yeah, I would say 98, 99.
And I mean, like, even what he
but
did.
even
Dang, older than me.
Yeah.
Is 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, and he's
Almost 30 years ago. And like Shanghai Nights, what he was doing with Owen Wilson.
yeah.
Like,
That was good. Ooh, that's
he was doing a lot of good stuff with him.
yes, like changing the game, but like wasn't going out of his way to like give me my flowers. He really just was living it. And so I hope that we can all take a page from that book.
Well, now that he's part of the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe, hopefully one day you guys will get a chance to meet him.
Absolutely. To work with him would be.
It's actually a dream of mine to meet Jackie Chan.
Actually, I'm glad you're saying that, because one of the questions I have for you guys was going to be, if you had to pick one, whether it's another stunt performer, another actor that you get to do a scene with, the one you want the most, who would it be?
So I would say action has to be Jackie Chan.
Okay.
For sure, because it's always been a dream of mine to meet him and to work with him. I would think, acting-wise, it'd just be a really cool moment if I could do something with Johnny Depp.
Oh, I could see that. I like
I've
that.
always been a huge Johnny Depp fan as far as acting goes. His range, his abilities, his personality. I mean, he makes movies.
Yeah.
He makes the movie. It would just be a really cool moment to do something with him, But those are my two for sure.
I like
I'd
those.
say one from the action side,
Yeah.
one from the acting side.
I like that.
Yeah, that would be mine.
What about you, Jules?
For me, if I get called all the time, like on social media, is this Jean-Claude Van Damme's daughter? So I would absolutely be thrilled to do some sort of like adjacent or like daughter of Van Damme type thing. I think that would be super cool for an action thing. But as an actress, I would lose it if I could have a scene with Jason Bateman. He is my comedy king. And it's just the way that he delivers things. Like, even when he's playing that villain, or, like, just the small sarcastic things he said in Carry On, but he was still a serious character, is just such an iconic level of comedy for me that not many people can tap into that.
Yeah.
So I would love to do something with Jason Bateman.
Okay. Cool. Go ahead.
Okay. You all own a school? A martial arts academy?
No. We used to run martial arts academies, and teach instructors and put the instructors in their
Okay.
certain positions and whatnot. Check the quality insurance of certain martial arts instructors and even schools. But we still do seminars around the world.
Okay.
And consulting. We've been.
Justin's being humble. Justin consults for multiple martial arts schools around the states, Florida, Colorado, you name it. He consults them. So he is still part of managing martial arts schools. Even though we personally do not own one, we are still very heavily involved and consistent in the martial arts business industry. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys still competitors?
No, we are not. No, we've retired a good bit ago.
Those weren't even my questions. I was just getting to that.
Yeah.
So what are your future plans for martial arts and entertainment?
Oh,
There we go.
yes.
So
We've
it's,
been preparing.
you can see we were like, who gets the mic? Who gets the mic?
No, I'm gonna give it to her. Definitely more articulate than I am. But.
It's just because we're so passionate about that topic specifically that I'm really excited to talk about it, because for the past few years, you know, I personally retired here at AKA Warrior Cup in 2022, January 2022, because my stunt career had taken off to the point where I just couldn't do both to their fullest. And I wasn't gonna let one deteriorate for the other. I was like, I did martial arts, I left my mark, I'm out. And then I will come back when I'm ready, and not as a competitor, but to give back. So that is where we're at. For the past few years, we spent it really growing our careers in the film industry. And now that we're a little bit more established and we have the time and energy to come back to these events, we come and we want to create that open line of communication between competitors and other martial artists, creatives, artists, and athletes of any type, really, to know that, you know, we're still human. We still come back. We're still martial artists. We love this sport, and ask us questions. How can we help you get closer to your goals and create those opportunities for them to also do what they love and get paid for it like we did? It wasn't easy, but we can answer some questions. We can point you in the right direction. We can connect you with other people, and we've created the Action Stunt Boot Camp, and now it's officially in partnership with Century Martial Arts. So we will be having this 3-day stunt boot camp with active stunt performers and stunt coordinators that will be present, and we will be doing 3 days of intense training, get you all that information that would otherwise take years for you to learn on your own in this industry, and teach you actionable steps to get started if stunts is what you want to do. And if it's not, you have this skill set that now you can learn to apply and find longevity in the martial arts past being an 18-year-old competitor.
I like that.
Is that going to be a one-time thing, or is that going to be annual?
So it's pretty much annual. We've done it.
Okay.
We actually did it twice last year.
Okay.
We were planning on doing something in the springtime, but we wanted to take the focus onto this one in summertime with Century Martial Arts, because it's going to be huge.
Okay.
And it's at the Century Martial Arts headquarters,
Wow.
which is really cool.
Okay.
You know, the kids are going to be able to see like where all their stuff comes from. You know, it's like when I go to Century Martial Arts, I'm like a kid in the candy store. So, like, I wanted to. Little backstory. I woke up one day and I was like, I want to do like the Disney of stunts, and I was like, how do we do that? And I looked at it and I was like, we need a look. She was like, we need a location that would do stuff like that we can do this interaction. And I was like, what's something that we have now that's similar to that or gives that feeling? And I was like, Century Martial Arts headquarters.
Yeah.
And I was like, she was like, well, make it happen. I was like, I'm gonna make it happen, and we made it happen. So we're excited for that, and we're working. At Battle of Atlanta, we'll be doing every Battle of Atlanta, we do our action workshop.
This year, it'll be the Action Crash Course at Battle of Atlanta. So on the Wednesday before the Battle of Atlanta, it will be a 6-hour crash course into everything that you need to really know the basics of it. And it's going to be kind of that introductory, that taste test. If you really are looking to get into the film industry, test it out, and then come to the big 3-day boot camp at Century. But that one's, even the one at Battle, we're going to be incorporating rigging. There's going to be wire work. There's going to be all these things that, you know, you see and it's so lucrative, but oh man, I could never, or when would I ever have a chance to do that? So we are figuring out how to incorporate that for martial artists and stunt performers to come in and test it all out.
And last thing is Rec Hard Productions. We started our own production company, and we plan on doing some big things with our production company, even producing our own movies so that we can create opportunities for these people, martial artists, for athletes, for
Nice.
for our people, for the people that came up with us. You know, that's one of the things that we always say. God put us in this earth so that we can create opportunities for others, to help others. And
Congratulations,
that-
honestly.
that's what we're doing.
really
that's,
good.
That's what we plan on doing, and
Yeah.
that's what we plan on doing for our martial arts community more than ever, because we know that it's needed. You know, I don't mean to go on a rant here, but I do feel like our promoters have to do more for our martial artists.
Yeah.
But if they're not, it's okay. We're gonna do our part. That's for sure.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I think that a big thing of being a martial artist is knowing that your actions speak louder than words. And so we can say all of this stuff, but if we don't do this, if we don't lead by example, it goes to waste. So if you tell martial artists that you care about them, but you give the lowest prize money at massive events, your actions are not saying what your words are saying.
Yeah.
So we can only hope to inspire by leading by example. We pay all of our instructors, all of our coordinators, we fly them out, we pay them handsomely to do what they love. And I hope that that teaches martial artists that you're not asking for too much. You have worked so hard to be a damn good martial artist, and you can get paid handsomely to do what you love.
Yeah.
She's passionate about that.
No, you
Yeah,
can
I
see
can
it.
feel that. Yeah.
I can feel the passion.
Absolutely, and you know who you are when we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got 2 more questions for you guys. So my first question is going to be this. I know you talked a little bit about the lunch, right? So the next thing I was on now is just the holistic view. What was the set like on Cobra Kai?
Are you talking about like when we worked the recent one?
Yeah,
Season
so
6?
like
Yeah,
even
yeah.
just the recent
Yeah.
one, and the honestly connected to what was it like when you guys were getting into it in the beginning when it was season 3, and then now when you're here.
From my
into this
experience
la-
going from
recent one.
season 3 to season 6, season 3 I was just a stunt performer.
Mhm.
You know, fighting in the background. It was really cool. It was a really cool role. But fast forward to this for season 6, Don Lee comes up to me when he's seeing me train, and he loves what I'm doing, and he's like, "Can you create some things with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Let's do it. That's awesome." And afterwards he goes, "Hey, I envision this character for you. Like, I'm thinking Spanish Hawk, you know, like." And he's like, "Do you have a good Spanish accent?" And I started going off doing my Spanish accent. He's like, "Lovely." He's like, "You're good with speaking lines." I was like, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "How's your body looking?" I was like, "Well, you caught me at the right time because I'm starting to look better." So he's like, "Yeah, can you get ripped?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." But just all that, he's like, "I envision this character." And then fast forward, he's like, "Hey, they want you for this character, the Spanish Hawk named Diego." And I was like, "Nice." So like,
Little backstory on that, actually, which I think is funny.
the coolest story.
Don tells him about that, but Don also actually here at AKA's, the tournament I retired from, after I get off of stage, he's with Una, and she plays Devin in Cobra Kai.
Okay.
And they come up to me and they're like, "Dude, like, we're going to pitch you for the next season because we see this for you." So he's seen both of us in these roles, and he basically describes Maria to me. And then fast forward, Justin gets a call and is like, "Congratulations, brother. You booked it. You are Diego Aguilar, the Spanish Hawk on Cobra Kai."
No audition needed.
I knew it.
He just booked it. And I get a call too.
Nice.
And I'm like looking at him like, I'm getting the call too. So I pick up the phone and it says, "Hey, are you available to read today?" And I go, "Sure." And I look at Justin and I put my phone down. "They're making me audition for my role." I pick up the phone and
Then I said, "Well, then it wasn't just your role."
so I have to put
It was
together.
just me, baby.
So I had to do this massive audition. I start to hear of girls like nationwide that have gotten this breakdown for this same audition, and I'm like, they wrote this character based off of my martial arts documentary. What do you mean I have to audition for her?
Wow.
Anyways, I auditioned. 3 weeks go by, still nothing. I haven't slept in 3 weeks. I haven't
Yeah.
ate in 3 weeks.
slept
Anxiety. I'm anxiety ridden, just, rocking back and forth. Finally, I get the call, and they're like, "Oh, did anybody call you?" And I was like, No, sir." And he's like, "Oh, yeah. You got it, by the way. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this would have been great to know.
3 weeks of going on. That's crazy.
But I would say going from season 3 to season 6, just being a stunt person in the background to all of a sudden you're playing a character, and then being allowed to create for this character, put my own personality or what we like to call sazon, flavor.
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
Put my own little flavor to this character, and little things like little details. As you know, when I used to fight, before I fought, I always had my fist up.
Yep.
And it was just a mentality game. It was like I already won. Like it doesn't matter if you think you're gonna. I won, and I used that in my character because my character was supposed to kind of be like that, like this intimidating character. And I was like, all right, there was nothing more intimidating to other fighters than that. And then you see Demetrius, he like reacted. He looked up and he was kind of like nervous and scared. And that wasn't scripted. That was just him. He was like,
that was the actual reaction.
What is like it was a real reaction. He was, I was nervous, and I said, good. That was my intention. And I had lines. Obviously, my lines didn't make it through. Hers did. So even though she had to audition, her lines at least went through. She did. My lines didn't go through, but I was still just grateful to become this character. And then now we have a huge fan base for Diego and Maria. We're seeing a lot of like fan-made edits, photos being made, arts being made for us.
That's awesome.
People are like wanting like our own spin-offs, which would be so cool.
Yeah.
Let's
Please
do it. We're here. We're ready for it.
Lock that in now.
Yeah.
Lock that in now. Yeah.
We did that Panteras. We're ready. But yeah, it's just cool to just be our characters, just be us, and then put our flavors to it, and then just them respect it to the point where like we actually help create some of the other fights, and being able to do that is a huge difference from just playing a simple Cobra Kai guy, right?
That's awesome.
So that was my little like experience from those seasons.
So I love that he talked about the character and never addressed the set at any point. So I will go ahead and do that for you.
I got you.
So what was the set like on Cobra Kai? So they had rented out the Georgia Aquarium for some of our like captain stuff. So we were shooting in the aquarium, like we're all like in the whale room taking naps and like eating crafty snacks, watching the whales, and then they're like, all right, head over here, we're gonna go shoot over here, and then we shot some stuff at the aquarium, but being there by ourselves was like really cool. Then something else was they rented out the Eastern, which is a concert hall, and turned it into what is the Sekai Taikai.
Okay.
And it's like the second floor. They made it look like a massive place, and it's just like one of the smaller music venues in Atlanta.
Wow.
Honestly, like looking at the set, I thought they may have watched Waka World Tournaments and mimicked it.
I swear to you, I thought the same
in the
exact
logo.
thing.
I was like, it looks very similar.
Yeah.
And I was like, they did a great job, because I walked in there, I was like, am I going to fight? I'm ready to fight, actually, because this feels like a legit tournament. I'm ready to go. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, so they built out that big matted set, and then the platform stage, they had it there for some days, then it was completely taken out, and then they had it and it was raised, and we had to build boxes underneath it so that if people did fall, at least they were falling into a box catcher. Then we would have to take it all out. Then we had like the beam fights that happened upstairs, but then we removed the beams, and it was like a whole nother fight area. And so like they just kept repurposing places and making it look like 10 times bigger than it was. And it was so cool to see that movie magic actually happening. Another thing that was really cool was the music venue needed it for Friday, Saturday. So we would leave on Thursdays. We were working Sunday through Thursday.
Okay.
And we would leave on Thursday, and I mean in like 2 hours, gone. So they could have a concert Friday. And then we would come in on Monday, and it was all rebuilt. I mean, that art department, that set department.
They put in work.
Worked.
Wow.
I mean, like, till we were wrapping at like midnight, and they were clearly there till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, making sure every detail was clean so that the place could continue to be a business.
Yeah.
Shout out to SecDec and art department. I mean, it just goes to show you when it comes to film and TV, every single position is super important. Like they're not.
Every department is so valuable.
Every department is valuable.
Yeah.
You know, like people like argue about like which ones is more important, and stunt people need more recognition. Yes, we do. But the reason why we fight for that is because we're not fighting just for stunts. We're fighting for every department that needs recognition. It's not just actors, not just directors, not just producers, but every single ingredient makes the whole pizza or pie. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. And the movie magic was good because you saying that it was one of the smaller venues. I thought, I was like, man, they must have a warehouse that they built out. I would have thought you guys had a whole warehouse. That
Just
is
repurposed
crazy.
things every time. Every day we were shooting something different, and it would change.
Wow.
So was the aquarium you spoke of earlier? Was that where they did the jump crescent kick with the chalk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that was
got
at the
you.
aquarium. So it was the Barcelona aquarium. But I will say there was some people on TikTok that were like, they didn't actually shoot this in Barcelona because if you look, the signs, they're in Spanish, but the exit signs say exit in English.
And I was like, damn it! They caught it. Who didn't cover that sign?
Salida.
I remember, like,
Some
who?
people got a lot of
You know what's
time.
funny?
Gotta put salida. That's what
Yeah,
you
people
do that.
like who has that time? But
I would've
people
never
do.
noticed that.
People
Yeah.
do have that time.
And you know what? Thank you for your service. Because honestly, they be finding really cool details. I mean, it went viral when they were like, hold on. Zoomed in on Justin in season 3, and they were like, here's our conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory. Diego and Hawk knew each other, and that's why they teamed up at the end. They actually knew each other. They used to be Cobra
The
Kai.
other one was like, oh, he was Cobra Kai before in season 3, and then when Cobra Kai went to hell and he left and he found a different team and his family got poor and they moved to Spain. And I was like, if my family got poor and moved to Spain,
Man, that's a
like,
different type of poor. I don't know what that is.
let me be poor then, I guess. It's like, we got to be moving to Spain. But I was like, yeah, we went to Spain, and then they found Furia de Panteras, and he learned Spanish, and he braided his hair, and I was like, man, I did all this on my own. That's crazy.
That fan
It
fiction
was
something else.
The fan fiction is something else. But I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Creating the stories for us. And
The funny thing is the writers and directors, they pay attention to that stuff also because
Yeah.
I see them sometimes comment on different posts on Instagram. So that's pretty cool.
yeah.
It is really neat. They are super involved. They love the fandom as much as
do.
the fandom loves them. Like I know the showrunner, John Hurwitz, like he reposts stuff. He
Yeah.
comments back. He messages us like, hey, I saw this fan art. Look at it. And so it's really nice to be a part of a family. Cobra Kai really was a big little family. Like we all love each other. We were all there for each other. I mean, even like Colin, Haley, Alex, getting to work with other martial artists and like hold each other's hands and be like, listen, we've been doing this for a little bit. Let's, show you. And other people that did that for us, like Craig Hennison and Don and Ken that did that for us. And so it's really just a beautiful, big, happy family.
That's awesome. Go ahead.
Okay, so my last question is, what Cobra Kai character would win the AKA Warrior Cup, and in what division?
Ooh. Besides us, right?
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm about to be like. I was just about to say. I'm about to be like.
That doesn't count.
I'm
We'll
about to
take
be
us
like,
out.
here
'cause
we
that
go.
doesn't count. We were in the game. That don't count. All right. So if I'm just going straight off of like Cobra Kai characters, I'm gonna have to go. And I've seen it personally. Hawk is pretty good, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like in person, his abilities are great. Like he takes it serious, and like currently has been doing Muay Thai and everything. So he
Wow.
like he takes it serious, and he looks good. He looks good, and some of the like the flips and stuff that you see, he's like, I want to learn it. I'm gonna do it, and he does. He learned a gainer. Yeah, and he's like,
Wow.
I'm doing the gainer. Yeah, and I was like,
Wow.
let's
On a
go.
concrete floor,
Yeah.
like
So
no
I'm
fear.
at this- because like we see how Robbie, Miguel, like they look phenomenal as well.
Yeah.
Robbie's Fei Long, he did a Fei Long and looked great, and then Sholo's doing some great fights between 2-on-1. But like yeah, they had their doubles, but they actually went in and still did it. So
That's
it looked
awesome.
great. But Hawk, he was doing some really good moves, man. And I was like, if anyone wants to do it, Jacob was
Gotcha.
the man.
Okay.
And I mean also Quan, like Quan, he's a legit martial artist.
They asked you to
but-
answer who you thought. Can I?
I'm still talking about who I think. I'm talking about Quan as well.
But
you
I
know,
wanted to talk about Quan.
Unfortunately,
Can you just
she
name
can't get
every
it.
person?
Unfortunately, sometimes Jules gets jealous when it's not just her talking.
And then they
But
Okay, so you
What are you
said
gonna call us? The
So now my answer. So Justin's answer is Hawk, and my answer is Quan.
Okay.
Because of his experience in Taekwondo. And for me, Quan would win the forms division because one, he has really clean tricking, which means he's not just throwing flashy tricks without the kicks. Everything ended with a smooth, precise. You could see he aimed where that hook kick was landing.
Yeah.
You know, where that round kick was going. And he was kicking out of his tricks. So mad respect for that. And on top of that, he had swag. And so I think that his stage presence, his just that ability to turn it on and turn it down, he would be a phenomenal performer, and I think he would take the AKA Warrior Cup in forms.
Okay.
He would fall right into his Hawk. Just saying.
Yeah.
all day, every day. Yeah. If we had to categorize,
Yeah, I would say Hawk
I
would
would
win
say
fighting,
fighting,
yeah.
and then forms. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All
right.
Who do you think?
So to be honest with you, I actually would say the same, almost like the exact same thing. But again, if I'm not being biased, I'm being honest. I was gonna be like, well, I'll take Diego. Like I'm not gonna, like, but I also, but then I also, but and in my mind, I'm like, but I probably seen him do it in real life. So how can I not
Right,
like
baby.
go with that? So I'm like,
I'm gonna be controversial.
okay,
I'm gonna say Daniel.
get out of here.
I'm gonna say Daniel for kata. Who else does a kata for 40 years? The same form.
Daniel LaRusso.
Daniel LaRusso doing the same fucking form for 40 years. He gotta win.
But
You have to hold on. Well, then let me be controversial right back. If you have to be doing the same kata for 40 years,
You need to level up. You
But
need
he thinks he's a
need to
fighter.
level up.
He thinks he's a fighter though. So
I understand what you're saying. though. If you're
need to
doing the
level up.
same kata for 40 years, that kata's got to be the best kata.
It's,
got to.
it's your
That means
ace.
if he's running that kata, that man's been getting tens.
We're also, listen, hey, since we're saying this, I'm gonna bring this up because we've talked about this numerous times on our show, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we always say Daniel's not a real black belt.
No.
We've gone through
Well,
this.
it's been 40 years now.
Never-
I mean,
yeah, but
You know,
He's gonna be.
the cool thing is none of them were, right? None of
Yeah,
them were
so-
actual legit black belts, but like years of training. Like technically, like these kids have been training 5-6 years. They're a black belt at what
Yeah.
they do, you know?
Yeah.
Like they really train hard at what they
Yeah.
do. So like you gotta give them the kudos. So we're talking about 40 years of
yeah,
training.
so that's why
he
we
is
were-
Miyagi at
yeah.
this point.
there you go.
You
So
gotta start his own like his own like
also,
style.
I'm not gonna lie. At lunch, everybody else was allowed to leave and go to lunch, but the actors were not allowed to go to lunch just yet. They had to stay back with Don Lee and his sensei, Oscar Rivas, and go over their traditional forms. And he had them
Wow.
doing Nihon Goran? Or Nihon, I don't know,
This is
the
so cute
Shotokan
when
forms.
she tries to speak Japanese.
I do Korean. What do you expect from me? What forms? Anyways, he had him doing.
Nyanchi Shodan.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's,
Close enough.
obviously a derivative of Teki.
yeah,
Teki Shodan.
yeah.
right?
So Teki Shodan.
Yeah.
For
But-
us, like he knows, you know that. Yeah,
But-
Shotokan blood. You got that. I got
But
you.
he held them to it, and he was like, that's not a horse stance. That's a back stance. Like, and they were tough on them.
All right, so you know
there
what,
was
man?
some legitimacy there.
I'm
yeah.
actually really glad you said that because now it actually kind of adds more validity to what we were saying
But what?
about he is training it. So now it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
how you
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Now it's like, well, he had 40 years. Like,
Yeah,
that kata is gonna look down pat. Like,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yep.
So for me, my last question is gonna be, for you guys, right? And obviously, you guys have the same goal, and you guys also have separate goals. So if you had to pick a movie role, whether it's you doing stunts, whether it's you doing acting, or incorporating both, what is the perfect movie role for you guys?
Well, the next action star, Justin Ortiz. No, it would be a lead role as
You can
as
say
an
it,
action
you
star,
can say,
right?
No, which one? What's the one that you talk about all the time?
He's right. There is that one.
Beating around the bush.
Yeah,
like you don't
I am.
know the answer.
That's true.
You don't talk about it.
All right.
He's been
at
practicing
all.
it for
Yeah.
years. He's like, I can't
Well,
wait till
all right.
someone asks me this.
I'm Batman. I would want to be Batman. That would be
Oh man.
specifically Batman Beyond.
That's what I was.
Batman
wondering.
Beyond.
That would be a
Yeah.
dream
Okay.
come true. I would, you know,
He's been
Honestly, I've been studying and just I always tell the
I am
kids
Batman.
I am Batman, right? I mean, I have a Bat cave, a game room that has Batman stuff all over. My wedding ring has Batman on it that she got me. I was like, if mine don't blink, I don't have it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I know how that goes.
you know,
Trust me, I already know. Thank
But
you.
it has a Batman emblem on it. Like that's like Batman is huge in my life, and like actually, it is sort of an inspiration for me because like again coming from the projects, it's like it signifies where I am as far as like success and then giving back to my community. I want to be that Batman. But to be able to play him would be a dream come true. And I don't even care if it's Lego Batman. If I can voice Batman, if I can voice Batman,
Listen,
like Lego Batman is the truth. Have you seen
Yeah.
Lego Batman? Just go
Batman
hard.
goes hard.
Yeah.
Hard. I would still love that, but like just to be Batman would be a dream come true. Batman Beyond, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. Put it in there.
It's gonna happen.
There
Oh,
you go.
it's out there. It's
Yeah.
out there already.
I got
It's
you.
so cool to cut this clip out in a few years and be like.
I got a few clips out.
Look at him. He manifested it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When she talked about waking
gonna
up.
happen.
Yeah,
Doing?
that's what I'm saying. We're gonna
happen.
manifest this
And
one.
if someone else gets the Batman Beyond role, let me know.
Geek.
Yeah,
We got you.
legs go out of nowhere.
We'll take care of you.
It just happens.
We're gonna
Just
take care of you.
happens.
We're gonna take care of you. What about you, Jules? If you had to have that perfect role, what is your perfect role?
For me, it has always been Elektra. Because
That'd be sweet.
she is so underrated. She is a phenomenal martial artist. She has depth. She has a great story. There's a lot of really cool characters that get to play in that storyline
Yeah.
as well. And I think that Jennifer Gardner did such a wonderful job with Elektra at the time. But we are coming up on, that time frame when people want to see a reprise. And so I think that if I were ever given the opportunity to do anything that involved Elektra, I would be absolutely thrilled. I would stop whatever I'm doing to do that. Elektra is definitely somebody that is already living inside of me.
I actually really, I can see that. Like as you're saying Elektra, I can like visually see that.
Thank you.
I can see you still being Batman. I can see you still being
Okay.
Batman. I was about to say-
Crazy, 'cause you didn't say that
I
when
can
said
see,
Batman.
I can see you being Batman, but Batman wears a mask.
I was gonna do a Batman.
I
leap
gotcha.
over there, but-
No, but like you saying that, you even saying underrated. I think that is, I've never heard anyone really talk about Elektra. And when we talk about superheroes, we talk about like those type of roles. And I remember being a kid watching her do size, and I was like, wow, like there's a movie that does weapons the way I know weapons is being done in my dojo. So that is absolutely awesome.
Thank
Like,
you.
I think
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
I would hope the way that we look at how Halle Berry revolutionized Catwoman, like the way we look at Catwoman, Halle Berry, like that's what I would want to do. That inclusivity, that like, ooh, look who they casted for it. Like that's.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
Got
to
you.
laugh, but when we look at Halle Berry and Angel's like,
Yeah, I actually I caught myself. I was like, yeah, Halle Berry, yeah.
He agreed
Yeah.
a little too hard.
Hey, babe, I got you. Don't worry. I'm just saying it was the question was asked. I got that one.
the nod.
Yeah.
Pass the mic. Halle Berry.
You know what I want to see them do, Angel? I want to see them both in a movie together. I want to see them both do Mr. and Mrs. Smith, like a remake.
Ooh. Ooh.
That was dope.
Mr.
Yeah.
and
That
Mrs.
would be
Smith.
Because the fights would be real.
Yeah.
That would be real.
That damn sock you left on the kitchen.
They're like, so I want you to pull. We got it.
We got it.
Just roll the camera.
We actually created
Just roll
chaos
the
for this
camera.
one. Don't even worry. We're good.
It's like the blanks. We got our own. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You can either do a remake or a prequel or something like that. That'd be cool.
No, seriously,
be
man.
dope.
That really would. Hey, we're speaking that one into existence, too.
Yeah. Let's get it.
We're going
I
to clip
like
this
it.
one,
I like
put it
it.
out there for the
1,
fandom.
2,
Let them
and
see
3.
this. Yeah, let them see this.
All right. That's
Hey,
it?
yeah, so I want to. No, never mind. Go.
I want their opinion on Daniel's John Kreese take.
Oh, go ahead.
Ooh.
No, you gotta ask it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to.
All
Your
right.
take.
So basically, I said that John Kreese. Okay, hold on. Before season 6, before season 6, I think John Kreese was not the bad guy,
Yeah, right?
right? And the reason I say that is because he was just protecting his students. All he knew when, his kids came back with broken arms, black eyes, and all he knew was that Mr. Miyagi kicked their ass. So of
Oh.
course he's not going to like them. He's not going to like that. This is his star pupil.
Yeah.
You know, any instructor would not like another grown adult.
Not at
You
all.
know,
Yeah,
so
not at
from
all.
there, it's just one thing after another. So my thing was John Kreese is not the bad guy. Now Terry Silver's something else.
Yeah. Terry Silver.
Silver's something else. What do you guys think?
Okay, so first, Terry Silver is one of my favorite villains. Like,
Yeah.
like that is a bad mofo.
Yeah.
I love Terry. I love me some Terry Silver.
That
I'm
slick
not-
back hair
when he
just
brought-
adds it.
In Karate Kid 3, when he brought Mike Barnes.
Mike
he was
Barnes.
Like, he's like the bad guy, the bad kid of karate. I was
Yeah, the
like,
bad boy.
I want to be
Right.
him.
I want to be the
I wanna
bad boy
I wanna be
karate.
the bad boy karate. So that was kind of like an inspiration for me. Like I was like, I'm the bad boy of karate. That's why sometimes I hit late.
It's all right. Ain't nothing wrong. It's
Travis,
not,
don't give that look.
it's not that you.
Don't
It's
At
not
least
that
he's
you.
honest.
Oh, yeah,
Hey.
that was messed up.
Hey, it's not that you hit late. They said
but-
stop too early. That's all.
but
They said stop too early.
I agree a little bit on the like if you see someone older, an older guy like they hit your student, yeah, you're gonna want to do something.
Oh,
about
he
it.
just did hit
But
him. He
you-
beat their ass.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
He beat the whole
true.
class's ass.
But also, it goes to show like even in season 6, like part 1, where we see like he had to give up his love for Johnny, right? Like he's like, I have this love for you that it's killing me, and like why I can't get over it, and he had to pretty much kill it, right?
Mm-hmm.
In those little visions
Yeah.
he was getting. So he did love his students, and he loved them so much that he was like, I will defend them with everything I got.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, you're right. He was just a normal,
Just protecting the students.
normal martial arts instructor. However,
Sometimes you can go too far.
sometimes you go too far. And as a martial arts instructor, you got to hear both sides of the story, and knowing that your students were creating the problem, he should have been the one to solve that within his students first, right? Because it was true, right? There's
Yeah.
no such thing as bad students, just bad teacher. And at that moment, he had an opportunity to be the good teacher, but he just chose the wrong path.
Mm-hmm.
Chose the wrong path with himself, which reflected on his students. So
Perfect. See, look at that. Thank God. I've been saying this. We've been going through this for a couple years now, and I've been saying that we always.
But
said,
he didn't hear it from Justin Ortiz. That's what it was.
Yeah, and that
I'm scared.
listen, Jo. When you speak, everyone listens. That's how we're doing
I
this. So I
appreciate
got
it,
you.
I appreciate it.
What about you, Jules? Did you think same thing, or you have a different take?
No, I agree 100%. I think he said exactly what I was going to point out, but same thing. Integrity, like as a martial artist, you also have to know when to be the bigger person and also how to diffuse situations. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And so like you learn all these things, and then how do you apply them is what makes you who you are. So the choices that he made, being emotional or not, were not righteous. So
Huh.
I think he's a
Awesome.
Okay. Juliana, Justin, thank you very much.
Oh man, thanks for,
Thank
thanks
you.
for having me.
Thank you guys so much.
We had a blast.
Yes, thank
We
you.
had a blast, man. And you spoke up this time.
I
man.
got you. Oh.
Oh yeah.
Good?
That was awesome,
Sign
man.
off or nothing? You just gonna...
Well, you didn't
Oh,
want me to
yeah.
do the
Oh,
intro.
we
didn't even
Let's
have
do
an
it.
intro.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go. We'll do a
I don't
sign
even know
off.
what to say.
I got you. Here, are we rolling? Thank you guys so much for having us. If you guys want to keep up with us a little bit more, you can find us on social media at karate.jules on almost any social media platform. And Mr. Justin.
At the Ortiz Experience on Instagram. Justin Ortiz on Facebook.
Yeah, so keep up with us. Please interact with us if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you're interested in joining us for some of our events. Please find us on social media. Comment, send us DMs. We love interacting with our community.
Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you for
Yeah,
Thank you guys
thanks.
so
making us
much.
feel like amateurs. Thank you.
Yeah.